Hello and welcome. Time for a late night video talking about Theta, Theta fuel. And it's now the 4th day of July 2019. This is the United States version of Canada Day. Or is it, or did we just pass Canada's version of US's 4th of July, Independence Day? Well, I'm not too sure, but it is what it is. Markets don't close on Bitcoin. You know, the stock market's going to be closed tomorrow, and the S&P 500 and the Dow and all that stuff. And gold and silver will close for most likely the entire afternoon. If not, we'll see about the morning because Europe's going to keep it open for as much as they can. But they'll be finished in the day at some point because they're a few hours ahead of schedule. Right now, it's about 5 o'clock in the morning there. Sun's just getting up there. At least I'm used to the sun getting up at 4:55 a.m. With that being said, I can only do this for so long because I'm going to have to go down to sleep soon. But I really want to see what this theta market does. I really want to see if it can break 1050. We'll see, because I'm all about ratio trading, and I traded some for Qtum and traded some for Arc Coin. Or no, excuse me, I did that earlier. Ethereum Classic, I sold some for. Those are the two I just recently sold some for. And I want to sell some for Litecoin. I want to sell some for Ripple. Neo, those are close, but I need a few more percentage points, like 1060. We'll see what happens. Even Litecoin's rallying nicely over the last few minutes. So because it's up an extra percent, I need this to go up an extra percent. If some people understand what I'm talking about, it's dividing one coin by another and trading it. Theta having some interesting moves. This is just wild volatility. I've talked about this before so many times, and like always, all bets trades of alike within each his own risk and their own reward. But I'm taking a big risk on stuff talked about the psychic white dove and the stuff they're saying, and well, then I'm hearing all this stuff about how they're like the decentralization and YouTube's like the centralization of all they're doing. Oh, I'm trying to get off of YouTube, and well, they had this whole Alex Jones thing taking him off, and there's even a lot of people unhappy with the whole YouTube situation now as it is, and outside of myself. But it's a monopoly. What else are you gonna do? Do you want your paycheck or not? We got some views for you. We'll see. For me, it's about $3, $4 a day, but going up right now is crypto. I'm gonna do a video on that. I was looking at that earlier today. That of trends. Oh, interesting search. If you look for a search for Bitcoin price, see how we've come along over the last year and see how far we are from how popular it was at the high. Oh, and it's been matching with what people are saying. Yeah, I haven't really heard as much of it like I did back then. Well, the Google Trends say the same thing. But throwing that part aside, I've drawn these circles in. We go from 992 up to 1041, so it's about a 5% move, high or low. And then a move from 1012 up to 1057, higher high, and a gain of about 4% more. A little bit of a pullback, an attempt to regain the trend. We don't know if it's a failed attempt or not yet. Could be. Will it hold and stay below the one? For me, it's important for the little bit. I am tired doing this, but it's one of those fun little things about, okay, you can handle staying up for a little bit. Maybe a trade will come available. And then the gamble about sleeping now. In that, what am I trying to get as a ratio trader? Is that a word or is that a common thing, a ratio trader? Am I like the first ever person to say, hey, I'm the first ever ratio trader, meaning I take two weird things that are not supposed to be or not traditionally traded together and I do such? Sort of like this could have been done years ago. Take some Amazon shares and trade against AT&T. Does anyone do that? Yeah, I'm sure there are, but I never heard of anyone that does it. I figured it out. It's a cool thing. I like it. Anyway, I'm looking to get in here to sell some against, like, I think I mentioned it, Ripple, Litecoin, and think it's Neo. Yeah. But I just want a little bit better of a gain. Markets will move up, markets will move down. And, this whole thing about this Miss White Dove on this whole JSNIP 4 thing, yeah. Thousands of dollars. I mean, what would you have to do? Like, take out YouTube, owns a monopoly or something like that? Well, if it happens, that probably would be the result, this is like 1.3 cents, or 13 cents rather. 13-cent coin. So it would need to go up like, well, 7 times just to get to $1, plus another 1,000 to get to 1,000. Well, yeah, multiply it by 1,000 by one to get to 1,000. And then so it's 7,000. Then if it's thousands, it's multiple times higher than, or an factor times higher than 7,000. So 12 tens of thousands of times higher than the price than we are having now. So if you think the idea of just holding like $100 and seeing what it can do, I mean that would turn into 1 million. So 1,000 is 10, and to have that whole 100,000 whole like node type of stuff, I like to call it node crap, but it's crap for me. But I don't want to distinguish anyone away from doing such. Or this, because this thing about getting all this free T fuel, which seems like it's whatever, it's a small gain, but I mean, if my ratio trading strategies results are as sick as it is, if the volatility for Theta is as sick as it is, and I mean, 1 minute term time frame, we're seeing some of that sick volatility, and I've been seeing it for days and weeks and months. November the 30th last year, hello, that was huge. And that last run it had up and then back down. And what's the next one gonna look like? It's all about the game and how you play it. So how I'm playing the game is just a multiple of division. I got like 9 other coins I'm dividing within this one. And when the ratio trades one direction or another, it's been a lot of buying and selling back and forth. And I can't help the fact that if the ratios work out where it's telling me to be buying Theta, then I'm going to be buying it. And in here, I sold some to buy some ETC and buy some, I think it was Qtum. Again, 2 times in a row. I had two shots in a row where I sold, but that was after I had 2 shots in a row where I sold Qtum to get Theta, because Qtum had a good run before. Let the market do what it does, and I'll just react to the number. I'll divide the numbers together, and the computer will do the division for me. I'll just tell the computer what the price is, which is unfortunate that I don't have any amazing automated software to do it, but I guess I can do it myself. It's interesting because I haven't talked about this yet, and it's been like 2 days. 2 days. The C64. Yes, the C64 is coming out December 2019, which is like it's a HDMI plug-in, and it has a availability for programming language on the VIC-20 or a Commodore 64, which I'll fool around a bit with it, but I really don't see me doing too much with it owning small basic on this system here. And it's got some good games on it. It doesn't have my favorite, which is, at least I don't think, which is Gianna Sisters. But I'm all about building a nostalgia room, and I really do need Bitcoin prices to reach the 40 to 50,000. Oh yeah, 40 50,000 plateau. But throw this. Bitcoin's my second highest holding. Theta's my third, and Litecoin's my first. But if Litecoin gets into 4 figures and this one gets into 1 figure, I'll have enough resources to start my amazing 1980s into the early 90s nostalgia room, which is going to have the 64. And then on December the 25th, 1985, I woke up to a Commodore 64. But it's like 120 US dollars. It's like I'm gonna buy it regardless. It's just cheap. But to be able to relive the old days of the 1980s and early 1990s before the Sega Genesis days came in, and that'll be something else I'll buy is a Sega Genesis and a Super Nintendo and a regular Nintendo. And that'll be fun. Anyway, off that point of nostalgia. But if you are interested in what I've been talking about and you don't have an idea, this is it here. And well, this is from Pat, the NES Punk. I'm subscribed to his channel. I'm a video game fan, but a nostalgia fan from back in my grow up days. And I see me going back to getting a lot of my collections of stuff that I had from 1983 through 1994. Just a lot of exciting news. Looks like Kawhi Leonard's going to re-sign with the Toronto Raptors in the next several hours. I'm going to wake up to that as he was seen flying into Toronto, and he's going to most likely resign, and that'll be the start, maybe, of a new dynasty for that. But that's uncontrollable stuff. As does these everyday markets. So markets will have their up and down movements, kick-ass up movement. That's sweet to see. And then it brings it back. And this was that October 30th date, just bringing it back. There's going to be, I think, a lot more. I mean, I don't think we've seen anything yet to what's coming on the horizon. And I wouldn't be surprised when it's ready to go. And I think it's going to be soon, but that's not what I would bet on. And I am betting, and I'm not betting on it's going to be then, but I am betting that it's going to happen, or else I wouldn't have such a decent size holding on this. After all, when I talk about ratio trading, the big thing is two coins going up long term. That's your job when you're doing it. If you want to gain, is make sure they're going up long term. But my strategy doesn't care about short term movements. Let's just accumulate at least two coins back and forth together. Profitate them well when we're at peak times. And I can tell you where peak times are not. They're not down here. They're not down here at these lows. And yeah, I was going to draw a circle right here. They're not down here. They're not down here, and they're not right now where we stand. Areas in here. Well, what was the gain? 1100 to 5000. That's like a 5x gain, 4x gain even. 4 to 5x gain. Meh. It's at the small areas of where we're talking about peak level. The potential for this to go to 10, 20, 30, 50,000 Satoshi in a 2 to like 6 week period, 9 week, 16, 20 week period. Well, maybe not 2 week, at least not to those type of levels, is in play. As when you look at these other coins that have phenomenal gains, the deeper down they are in that top 100, 200 list, the more likely it is poised to have a phenomenal move. I don't see Litecoin overperforming this if this is going to thousands of dollars, or if it's going to have a 10,000x move against the dollar. I don't know how many will. And it may never get there, but even if it gets to $29 as an all-time high, and if it breaks a dollar and it never sees it again, when it goes to 29, maybe it goes and finds a low of like 4 or something after that, then it's going to work out well if that's the case as well. But of course, the potentials, the possibilities are endless. And this is 1027 now, so it's looking safer and safer. That I can go to bed, as it's like 1:10 in the morning. And I'm just seeing if I can get something at a 1060. So I'm going to wake up in the morning, and it's going to be the same thing for me every day, every morning. And now that I know this whole way of trading, I wish I would have known this. Oh, so many way of doing it months and years ago. Of course, I would have saved a lot in that whole Cryptopia fiasco. And that's the reason what motivated me so hard to come up with a mechanism to be able to trade very aggressively and have as much control as possible. Of course, within that of your private keys. As one of the things that I'll teach to anybody in this game is just playing simply. Just if you're going to play the simplest way and you want to play aggressive and as safe as possible, I think Litecoin is safer than Bitcoin long term, mid term, and intermediate term. And it's got better volatility. It's got the best volatility for the shitty volatile coins, which are the coins like the Dashes and the Ripples and the Moneros, the Ethereums. Oh, the Ethereum and Monero is bad. It's like bottom of the list for bad volatility. Oh, yay, we have a 4% move. Yeah. How about your intraday average? It's not good. Compared to other cryptos, of course. I mean, you're talking about the worst of an amazing volatile market. But Theta I have is on one of the higher ends towards such. I love the wallet setup, in which in here this What you would do is you put your key store file in, your password, you're good to go. If you haven't got a wallet, well, then you go down, you push the create wallet button, and you'll be prompted to ask for things like, well, you'll download a key store file, but you're not going to want to keep on your computer, even have on it. Save it to a USB drive. That's what I do. If you want to have your computer, I mean, you do what you got to do. It's your own decisions. That's what makes great about each individual. We're each free to do its own thing, and that's it. Once you're your own individual, it took others to create you. Of course, your parents, but you are fully in control of yourself. And in cryptocurrencies, I look at it the same way, like the bitcoins and the litecoins. At least in that sense, once they're out there, I mean, nobody. That's what decentralization's all about. Nobody else is in control of that, just like nobody else is really in control about you. You are decentralized. At least that's what you want to be as yourself in that sense. Just a weird way of looking at it. So you get your private keys, you put a password in when you do this. You're going to need at least one T fuel. So if you want to get into this, and I mean, you can buy the minimum amount, and and if you're investing into that as well, that's up to you. There was, of course, the mainnet thing they did a while ago. People who held them, myself included, got them for free. And you really don't need many. I'll give you one. That gives you like 100,000 free transfers at the current cost of 0.5 zeros and one T fuel. So if you want a T fuel, because you want to use this wallet, and well, once you get the wallet, you get a public address. Because what will happen is, say for example, you go through this, you download the key store file. Hopefully, again, you put it on a safe USB device, which is protected like you would protect your private keys. It's a very important device, and not one that you have your everyday files on, unless other than maybe other ones that need protected files as well. But throwing that aside, but you have it on there. You save your private keys like normal. You got your password, all that's great stuff. And then you go on your Binance or Huobi. You send some Theta over. Great, you see it. Now you do what I talked about before when you test a wallet. Okay, now I want to send my Theta back to the exchange. See how it looks. See how fast it takes. And then you see that you need T fuel to send it off, and it's 0.0000 like one or 5 zeros 1, which is a cent a piece for one. I mean, I'm giving you 1 cent worth of coins with one T fuel, and that's going to be able to let you withdraw pretty much forever, unless they raise the prices. And I wouldn't even know how they could or would do that. But this whole Theta thing again is supposed to be the decentralized form of the YouTube video streaming technology. And if this whole white dove thing is right about, yeah, we're going the thousands, that's basically a prediction that they're going to win this battle. So, like getting Amazon and Google stocks the first year they come out, and even like the first months in price based on where we are in price action, the fact Theta came out at the market top January 30th, right in 2018, right when all the cryptos were falling. Just bad timing on that level. It means it's almost like buying at all-time lows. Right off the bat, you see market comes out for the first time, goes down for a year and so, and then it just has its run. It's like, wow, look at that. One of those types of deals. And if it has a lot of these choppy up and down movements along the way, the gains I could be working on could be phenomenally high. Regarding T Fuel next, a coin that is 9/10 of 1 penny right now. On the daily time frame, there's not much data. It's been going on straight down, going, or it has been going straight down since it's debuted. And it started off its first couple of days between 1.5 and 2.5 pennies. So the first few people getting their free coins had a chance to sell in. Of course, some of them did, and they have through time. But that wave of people, it gets slower and slower each day as people have had their chance to sell their free coins they got. And then the supply of people that are in that category just keep going lower and lower. But there's going to be more supply because apparently, as Jason4 is talking on his channel, you can get free coins by doing this whole holding them on the What's so you're quote unquote helping the community by doing work, like sort of like a miner would. Seems like you need computer action going. It might not be heavy technology costs like it is to mine Bitcoin or anything, but it seems like a computer has to do some work, which is all good and dandy, and and everybody needs to do their part on the team, I guess, as it is. But just like some people play left wing and some people play defense and some people play goal, I don't play that position of having oh, what do they call that? I've never done it. I've thought about it, and then 5 seconds later I think of other things. It's like when you have like a whole bunch of coins. I've heard about it with PivX and XBY when I had good holdings on those. I'm like, screw that. I'm not getting into that game. And this one here was the same thing. Oh, what do they call those? Where you're just like a big whatever. You're just a big holder. I normally know it's on the tip of my tongue, and there's a 50-70% chance it should come to me in the next minute or two. But when you're a big holder of this, the more you hold, the more you got, and you get rewards and you get free T fuel, and you can send them to the market and sell them, and that's what people will do. Which is why I think if Theta does really well, so will this. But I think over a good period of time, if Theta has like a 100x move, that you'll be lucky if this has a 15 or 20x. We'll see, but I just don't think it's gonna overperform Theta along the way. Of course, time will be the only. If you're a static node holder, that's the word that I think I'm looking for. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that. Now, what would be an interesting curiosity on that is if I keep withdrawing and depositing funds like over and over and over again, like 40 to 50 times a month, and oftentimes lots in a row, like I'll like do 4, 5, 6 withdrawals in a 2 hour time span, which when the markets keep going up or keep going down in Theta will happen. Or when other coins are kicking ass and Theta keeps going sideways because I'm trading both coins together. It's just a better, more profitable strategy, especially when you like multiple coins. And multiple is two. Because anyone that I talk to wants to get into this but doesn't want to spend much time in it, if this is your only cross, not Theta Fuel, but Theta and Litecoin, it's not going to take long for you because think of your daily activity. Okay, once a day, you check the prices. You got the price of one against whatever cross pairing. Bitcoin's the easiest because you can see it here. You can see it on your Binance page. Divide one price by the other. What's the ratio? Most of the time, you're going to see it. Nothing to do. You can go ahead and do other things. You'll check again in 24 hours, or 8 or 12 hours, or however long you want to do it, twice a day. I mean, it's not. You can do it as much as you want, but even if you only want to do it 4 or 5 times a week, check every day or two. And then when you see there is something, oh, okay, the ratio is high or low enough where I want to make a trade. Okay, so it's high enough. And then you think of how long it takes to get the job done. Okay, so you first log in and you see Theta's up big, we'll say. It's up 20 something, 30, 40%, whatever works out for you. And the ratio is, say, 705. It used to be 900, we would say, or 950. So it's a big, big move after whatever this phenomenal move is. Okay, so now what you need to do is let's calculate how many Theta do I want to sell. You calculate the size of the move. Okay, well 705 to 950, differential is 245. Of course, your calculator can calculate this for you as well. That's a 30+% move. So what do you do on a 30% gain? Okay, well maybe I'm selling 22%. Okay, on this many. So let's just assume you go to your Theta wallet. That takes like seconds maybe to log in. And then you calculate 22%, so you go to your send. You send to the Binance address. If you don't know it or don't have it ready, you go to Binance and you find it. Go to deposits, find Theta. There's your public key you'll find. Then you copy and paste. And then you send what you need to send. Put your password in. It takes about 4 or 5 seconds for the wallet that I'm used to, which is this Theta wallet here, to tell me that it's ready to go. And then 60 to 90 seconds later, Binance will have 10 confirmations and confirmed ready to go. So that's not much time. So then I could go on to the exchange, sell it for either Binance Coin or Bitcoin or Ethereum or something, and then buy back with the other coin, and now I got Litecoin. So I then go to funds and withdrawals, withdraw the Litecoin to my public address, send, and if you have 2FA, you might have to put a 6-digit code in, verify your email, and you can check. I normally don't even check those until like the next day sometimes. I mean, what's the bother? It's going to be there. Like, it's been there 100% of the time in the past. It's always worked. And that's what you need for this whole crypto space to work. If it's gonna work 99.9% of the time, that I make a correct, making sure you put the right keys in is always important. Check the first two, 3 digits, last 3 digits, and man, you'll get used to those keys. You'll just see it. You're like, no, I know. Well, my Litecoin address ends in a small b and a big B. Well, yeah, it's because I've sent it to that many times. That one I don't share public, but uh, at least not to everybody. But that's you get used to them when you have many transfers over and over again. And on the flip side, let's just assume it's the next day and the ratio goes up to 836. So now you're not getting as big of a move. You go from 705 now to 836. That's a differential now of 130 points. So you're looking at about close to 20%. Okay, so now you go to wherever your Litecoin is wallet. There's so many good ones for that. So say your Trezor Nano, maybe your Atomic or your Exodus or whatever wallet is that you use. I use the Trezor and the Atomic wallet to have Litecoin holdings on. And the you go in there and you withdraw what you need to. It's a little longer of a wait for Litecoin to get confirmed to sell. Yeah, you might be looking at 10, 15 minutes. You could be looking at 5. It's not that slow either. I'm thinking 5 to 10 minutes. I don't really time it too much. It's never a minute or two, but it's never 20 minutes. So it's in between that. So maybe you go for a cup of coffee, maybe you do this and that, maybe you do other things you need to do, and maybe other trading you're doing too. Maybe you got more time, but so now you send the funds and it's the same thing again. You sell the Litecoin, you buy the Theta, you withdraw, you send the Theta to your wallet. It'll take 5-10 minutes for Binance to actually take them off the exchange. That's what I notice anyway. So if you send Litecoin off, don't. I mean, it's funny because the one time it was 2 minutes. I have a friend over who's getting into it and like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're taking Litecoin off this Binance exchange. You're gonna notice that it's gonna take like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and then after the confirm, like 60 seconds later, he sees it like 40 seconds later. And I've seen it once or twice that fast too, but it just happens to be up. And I just said that at the time. That's just a rare time. Binance is slow. Now, taking it off of Poloniex or Bittrex, they're not as well volumed exchange. And definitely Poloniex is not as well liked. But when you take coins off their exchange, oh, it's fast. It's like instant. It's always like, I mean, if it's over a minute from the time you confirm it on those two exchanges, I'm like surprised for Litecoin and like DGB and Bitcoin Cash and those type of coins. It's I always get notification anyway. Not maybe the first confirmation, but notification that it's in the block. Because you get that immediately from those Trezor wallets and probably the Nano as well. That it's at that time. And but for me, I don't really care as much about that speed because I care more about the speed to get it to sell on the exchange. That's the one I'm more fascinated with because if it's just the way it is that Binance waits 5-10 minutes to do their job for actual sending the money, that's I really don't care because I'm not doing anything with those coins for anything of it at all. I mean, not for that time period. So it'll like never matter for that anyway. I'm just going on about stuff, but I think it's stuff that people can benefit from as well. I'm extremely confident with the trading strategy. I'm going very aggressive, and again, just playing those two back and forth. And you get situations, the like second chapter, if you will, like not the first chapter, but like later chapters are when these coins go up together. and one in ratio trading. One's up 5 times, one's up 14 times. Especially when both of them are 10x or better, 10x and 30x or something. Majorly especially. Sell some of these for Bitcoin. And then profit take with the Bitcoin if Bitcoin is high. But wait for these to go down big. If say a coin goes up 30 times in value and you're not thinking it's going to have a big pullback, then you're not thinking right, I think. That sounds right. I mean, it might not be now, but that's fine because I got a plan for that as well. So if it goes up 30 times and it's at, say, 10,000 units of whatever, well, I'm expecting it to go to 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 even. So I want at least better than half off, like 60% decline in prices, and I'll buy some of it back. And only some of it back. I'll buy more than I sold, maybe 25, 30, 40% more than I sold, thus a profit taking on the Bitcoin side as well. Selling it against stable currencies or for using it as real money. In fact, I like the second one better, using it as real money than for stable currencies. But both are fine and both together are great. But buying gold and silver with it, buying groceries with it, paying off mortgages with it if you got the availability to do with it, buying that dream car, the dream vacation when you got those situations. That's what a lot of that's why you're in the business to do is and things like that to me is very very important to do. But I mean, we're not at that time right now. And we got a long ways to go to get to that moment. Because part of the biggest transfer of wealth that's going on, this is how I look at it as in like gas prices, 30-40% increases over what period of time? Maybe a year, 8 months. A basket of goods, and I want to talk about getting foods that don't change seasonal prices. Usually the produce and fruits and vegetables, at least in my area, given the Toronto area, and many other parts of the world, I have to say the same, is the same where different months have different prices on your cucumbers and your radishes and your peaches and your broccoli and so on and so forth. Because, well, I love peas and I can buy them cheap right now just because it's July. And a lot of produce is cheaper now and will become cheaper soon as harvesting season comes into place. Speaking of which, I'm going to have a snack after this is done of such. But over that same period, 30-40% prices higher, 25%. And we got a lot of people, the vast majority, that are going to be losing and paying this extra inflation. To me, you might have a product that's $349 in price right now, and you love that product, or it's $349 for whatever, and then it goes up to $429. Well, I'm still going to be buying it. It's just that I can now buy it with cryptos, and well, for me, everyone else is going to be going through like the great inflationary stage, hyperinflation. I'm going to be going through hyperdeflation because products here, if we get to this stage, means it's like buying it for like 50 cents maybe, or a dollar, or even a dime, 20 cents, based on how well I gain from this point to this point on my portfolio. And if we want to go to the hyper inflation, I mean, this isn't hyperinflation for people having to give up an extra like 20% or more, or 20% more on a product. But when that 349 product becomes 13.95, and who knows how much higher there after that, then I'm really going to be feeling hyper deflation because it's going to feel like I'm buying it for 13.95 cents. If not only thousands of dollars for Theta would be true, but hundreds, if not dozens and dozens. And if Bitcoin prices not only to like quarter million, but to 75,000, and Litecoin not only to 10, 20,000, but to 2,500, and all cryptos having their up and down volatility moments here and there, Oh, I'll be feeling a great bit of hyperdeflation. But what would you rather go through? Hyperinflation or hyperdeflation? When you can go through when you have the choice to do both at the exact same time. I guess it's up to you. But I look at it as in like another quick example: your car insurance. Imagine if you had the option not to pay for it, or at least the confidence not to play it. Ooh, that's a dangerous ride, literally. Shouldn't have said it that way, I guess. But you win your bet on bad news in a sense, meaning you get your say for example you got like your I don't know, maybe you got like a 1989 Honda Accord, 1993 Honda Accord. I know that's really old, but it gets broken up, so then they give you a Lamborghini. Although they wouldn't give you that, but that kind of is the type of reward you kind of could get based on what you risk on the current on the currency, that is fiat currency. Meaning you put insurance money, if you will, into this, and if the bad news happens to cryptocurrency, it gets in an accident, car crash kind of deal. It's just whatever, it's damaged. Well, then you get paid off. And the rewards, it's like turning a Honda Accord into a Lamborghini. That's the type of rewards I look at it. Thank you for tuning in. And again, your risk, your reward, your decision. That's just one way I want to put at it. And if you know this now, and if you already do if I've told you this, and you have the opportunity to do it, and you pass on it, then you are betting aggressively that it's not. And, well, it's almost like having the option to not have insurance on that Honda Accord of yours. Or that Lamborghini of yours, or anything in between. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.